won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You bet.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back in here to Pregaming on the Sports Money Network. I'm your boy Mikey Money, and I'm here to talk to you guys about sports action here this evening on a suddenly not so casual Thursday afternoon. Shout out to my guy Shark and getting ready to do some Major League Baseball with you guys here. It is February 19th. Thursday's connected to Friday, so we are just about in weekend mode. And we got so much to talk about. First of all, let's set the agenda here for the day. We'll do a Kalshi update for you guys here. Big news on the afternoon. Our stock is trading strong. We got the Rockets and Hornets, Pacers and Wizards, Raptors and Bulls, Nuggets and Clippers. That will kick us off for the NBA action. We'll switch over to college hoops. I'll give you Sanford and Citadel, Charleston and NC and Alabama A&M versus Florida A&M, the battle of the farmers, before we finish her off with a player prop segment. And it's only right we get into this thing here. Shout out to my guy, Reed Ferguson. I don't know if he's watching or not, but I saw a little invite into a conversation about Raising Cane's. Now, I got to be honest. I saw him during a March Madness tournament about 5 years ago, all over television. And it was because of streaming coming into some of these smaller, like Western New York markets. And I thought, that place looks pretty good. I'd like to try me some Raising Cane's. And of course, the commercials on and on and on and on. So I fly down to San Antonio, Texas for a nice couple of days with the boys. We're on our way to a horse track that doesn't actually have horses racing. I don't know. Figure that out. But they have a state fair or something going on. In any event, we're driving in. It's early in the morning. We're waking up and we said, let's get something to eat on the way. Okay. What do you want to get? And I saw the billboard. I was like, dude, we got to stop at Raising Cane's. Why not? These guys are like the staple of the March Madness tournament. And I'm jacked up. I'm all fired up. And the guy in the car is like, the guy that's from Texas driving us to the horse track says, I was like, dude, come on. They're all over March Madness. He's like, So what do you mean? He's like, you know what it is, right? I said, yeah, I mean, it's chicken. He's like, no, it's chicken fingers. Now, coming from the Northeast, I have no way to wrap my hands around what he means. Like chicken, it's chicken, right? Maybe you can get some wings. Maybe get like some chicken breast, like a KFC or a Popeyes. He's like, nah. He's like, come on, dude, come on. He says, fine. If you guys really want to go, I'll drop you off. Literally drops us off, goes over to like a Jimmy John's, which is the worst fucking sub shop on the marketplace, picks himself up a sub, brings it over to Raising Cane's. He says, I told you it's chicken fingers. Now the smell is a different story. In fact, they got sued. I believe it was a tenant in, was it North Carolina? I don't want to be out of school, so I'm going to say allegedly, but there was a lawsuit pending because the exhaust that they encourage these franchisors to put into their restaurants don't properly handle the exhaust. So the stink after about 6 months is going to be fucking through the roof. But I got what looked like a New England style hot dog roll. You guys know what a New England style, like think of a lobster roll, right? Beautiful. It's buttery. It's golden brown, slightly fried on the outside, except now it's burnt. It's like the end. It's certainly not buttery. It's just soft and it's excess like oil because it's ultimately Texas toast. And so the claim, and they were like, you want sauce? And I was like, well, sweet and sour sauce, hot sauce? No, sauce, like the Raising Cane sauce. I'm like, huh. And so everybody knows, except for me, I missed the fucking memo, that you want to get the Raising Cane sauce. So I'm like, huh. So now you got to get, so I go back up to the counter like a stooge. I'm like, oh, can I get a side of the sauce? And I get back and they said, you got to take that greasy, nasty, fake, artificial flavored garlic bread and swim in that Raising Cane sauce, and that's the way you eat it. And I was like, essentially, it's glorified Thousand Island sauce with Texas toast that's not very good. And the chicken fingers were soggy and cold. And that's Raising Cane. So I saw our guy Reed Ferguson here. And I responded. I posted. He said, congrats, guys, we did it, because Raising Cane's is coming to Western New York. And I responded and said, careful what you wish for. And so apparently a Twitter back and forth ensued. And respect the long snapper for the Buffalo Bills out of none other than LSU. Go Tigers. But my dude, I said this before, I'll say it again. If you want chicken fingers, dude, and you live in Buffalo especially, go to I don't know, is there a Sonny's there, or what's that big pizza place? There's a couple of different spots that you could go to and just order chicken fingers. I guarantee you they will be 110% better than Raising Cane's. Shout out to Dale Fick. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Raising Cane's, probably the biggest disappointment of the South. You know what might also be a disappointment, but I certainly would grade it 1 and then 10 on the scale. Hardee's. Hardee's has the potential to be really freaking good. It's just not. Like your move is shake and bake. You got the shake right, but you got the bake wrong, dude. You're a 2-horse pony and you're kicking on 1 horse. This is Raising Cane's. This is the disappointment and lack of excitement that I have for it being here in Western New York. Now, if you've never had it before, giddy up, go get it. But I promised I would start off talking a little bit about my Raising Cane's experience. And listen, chicken fingers are for kids, especially if you go to like a really nice restaurant. Like if you go to the Buffalo Chop House or something, you probably shouldn't be bringing your 4-year-old. But if you do, you certainly don't want them picking up a $150 tomahawk, right? You want to get them like, turn the menu over. Oh, there's the kids section. What do they got in the kids section, you guys? Help me out. Mac and cheese, chicken fingers, and I don't know what else. I don't have any kids. So that's what you get with Raising Cane's. Careful what you wish for simply means Buffalo could use a ton of positive, great restaurants. Raising Cane's in a new shitty chain is not one of them. In fact, I'd rather see them increase the Mighty Taco portfolio. Or, you know what? Work on fucking pizza. Your pizza's garbage, Buffalo. You could do much better a job just working on getting a better pizza shop going on out there. So that's my Raising Cane's experience out there. If you guys have been there, if you can validate this for me, tell them. Raising Cane's. Is it an F? Nicholas Handy says tendies. Yeah, I was going to say that, dude. Wendy's has tendies now. Like, if you want a chicken finger, go to fucking Wendy's, dude. I guarantee it's going to be better than Raising Cane's. You know the thing about these new franchises? They'll probably be good for like a week. Then after a week, the staff starts calling in sick because nobody wants to work in a shitty, disgusting smelling chicken place, right? So now you're going to be waiting for an extra. This is my experience down in Texas. I waited like 25 minutes for 3 tenders that were cold. So careful what you wish for. Simply means that. Shout out to Alyssa Lou. That's a fun little gal, huh? First time, 20 plus years. There you go. Thank you, Nicholas Handy. Grilled cheese is the other one. Grilled cheese and fries. Shout out to Shane Gillis and his cousin with his grilled cheese comment. $3.99 is a great deal for a kid that's only going to eat the piece of it and then spit it all back up. Shout out to Kelly B. Says, nice picks, Mike, yesterday. I'm sorry I didn't parlay your picks and mine together. Hey. But anyhow, Alyssa Lou gets the gold medal. She looks like fun. She looks like a fun time. Just got the painted teeth with the arrows. I don't know. 2 colors of hair. Gets the gold medal. What a ton of fun she was to watch out there. And then she comes, it was a real raw emotion when she's like, that's what I'm fucking talking about, man. That's awesome. How about that? And how about Team USA? Them gals, man. The gals are cleaning up the golds here in the Milan Olympics here. Team USA. What a fun game that was. And I immediately saw the goal being scored. And I said, Megan Keller. Not Megyn Kelly, not to be confused with Megyn Kelly. Megan Keller. Huge goal. She smoked that girl right out of her jockstrap. Literally. That's when they talk about broken ankles in the NBA. That's broken ankles in the NHL. That was a 2-line against pass, which is no longer a thing if you guys remember old school hockey. Then she dekes the goalie, goes outside, cuts it back, and goes right through the 5-hole, disrespecting the goaltender, and picks up the USA gold medal. How about that? Scored a goal with less than 2 minutes left, man. What a fun spot there. Megan Keller, Team USA gold. Lisa Lou. I don't know, but I like you. And shout out to her. The host of the Morning Steam suggested taking Lou at plus 350 on that show this morning. He's got some of the best graphics in the business. He talked about taking it at plus 350 this morning. So fired up way to start the day. Jeez, man. That Keller, look, I'm going to show it. I don't give a fuck. How about that? Fuck you, Elon. Elon is messing. I'm an Elon fan, but this stuff that's going on with Twitter's got to stop. Look at this, man. Look at that. Is that not the future poster for all young ladies in the U.S. or, well, I guess U.S. hockey ranks? You certainly don't want to be that one down on the ground for Canada. You're going to remember that forever. Man, that was broken ankles. And what a fun game that was to watch out there. And I'll go back to it. Now, listen, I'm a one source guy. I've said this before, but all those shitbirds, I started watching, what's it called? Peaky Blinders or some shit like that. I don't know what it's called, but you're a shitbird. Anyhow, all those shitbirds that talked about how bad Olympic hockey was. I told you before we even got to this round of the tournament for the men, there's 3 games that they play to kind of get adjusted to playing together. They're live exhibitions. And anybody that was shitting on the Olympics and talking about how bad the hockey was, fuck you, because look what we've had now. 4 straight overtime. Is it 4 straight? I know 4 of the last 5 have gone into overtime in matches that matter. And you couldn't ask for more than the best players in the world playing sudden death tournaments. What a fun spot to be. We got 2 great games on deck tomorrow. Can't wait to see what that looks like. Well, frankly, we got more than 2 great games on deck, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a ton of fun. So there we go, man. Shout out to, matter of fact, I'm going to give that gal a follow. I'm sure she won't follow me back, but look, I gave Reed Ferguson a follow. The least I could do. Oh, also, shout out to Francesca Rita. You may not be aware of who she is, but she is a Drake softball player. And shout out to her. If you haven't checked her out, go check her out as well. Lots of fun things happen in the worlds of women's athletics, and it's just a great natural segue. Sunday night baseball on ESPN. You're out. Figuratively and literally for a women's package. WNBA. Oh my goodness. You know, I almost kind of thought, and then you see Sean Strickland's comments with the UFC, and I almost kind of thought maybe the WMMA spins off and has their own little circuit, which wouldn't necessarily bother me. I was putting together the graphics for this weekend, and yes, there's several WMMA bouts this weekend, including the opener, which has both women coming in off a win. But I just kind of thought, like, could that be the evolution of the sport where they just kind of spin? And then you see the Ronda Rousey situation, and you kind of think, maybe they are trying to build up their own. Like, wouldn't it be cool to see, like, this is me, and you guys know, if you watch us on Saturday, you understand where I'm coming from here, but wouldn't it be cool to watch like Ronda Rousey and then some of them boxing women fighting on top of it? Like, you got 2 different rings and you got like a women's event. I don't know. I wouldn't be there, but still be fucking cool. So anyhow, what a lot of fun. And I can't believe ESPN is doing away with. Now this is the shame, because we're coming back to the NBA. I'll tie it all together and we'll get to some picks here, but we're coming back to the NBA and there's already dudes out for personal reasons and load management. You've been out for a fucking week. What have you been doing? Did you get sunburned in Cancun? You can't come back and put the fucking sweater on? I don't know. I mean, Really? And yet Major League Baseball on Sunday Night Baseball has to go. Like that was the one spot, because you come off of Sunday Night Football. It's like we're conditioned as consumers to enjoy that Sunday night sports, which, everyone's kicking back, kind of turning it down a little bit, especially in the summertime off of a banger weekend. You're water skiing, you're jet skiing, you're out fucking picking strawberries or whatever it is you do. You get to Sunday night, you just want to put your feet up for a little while. Watch a little baseball. Watch the Yankees play the Red Sox 6 times on Sunday night, and get yourself ready to go to work on Monday. And so I was a little surprised to see that happen. And I can only hope that the networks start to do that with the NBA, because this shit is disgusting. We're seeing the sports books are starting to get upset. The casinos, they're saying, hey, you're tanking and totals are fucking us. Stop it. And I've said it before, stop it, the NBA. But that being said, with the NBA tonight, look, we've had a week. We're not going to pass. We're professionals at this process here. We fight every day. We grind every day. We look at the card every day, and we try to find the best angles. Do we win at 100%? No. But we win at the best rates of most in the business. And because we fire every single day, we make more money than the rest of them. So that being said, we've got player props tonight. Now on Winnable, I put out a 5-pack, I think, of player props. I'm going to bring one to you guys here tonight. The line is on the steam, and it's all related to some of these injuries. And both sides, right? We've kind of capitalized on that the last week. We're going to see more of that from the show as we move into the second half of the NBA season. But let's see. Can I find this little Alyssa Lou? I don't know. Can't be her. I don't know. I'm going to have to do a little more looking. So it's a side project I would gladly take on. So anyways, appreciate everybody that is here ready to rock with us tonight. Ramon Scott says, don't worry, Mikey, NBC Peacock will be the new home of Sunday Night Baseball for the 2026 season through 2028 as part of the MLB new media rights structure after ESPN dropped MLB partnership. Dude, and what's crazy, Ramon, is they're like Kalshi betting. They're talking about when the WNBA is coming back. This girl's going to be on a strike with the new fucking ESPN deal. Give them some of that money. Well, first of all, pay the NBA back what you owe. Then give them some money. So that being said, you guys, it is in a battle land right now. We are fighting for, constantly in a fight. Let's be honest, right? Channel starts being told to ask for permission, being told that you can't come on the channel, all the things that we've gone through in our history, right? We fought to get our spot. We fought to put our flag in the ground for Sports Money Network. We fought throughout the last year and a half to show that we are the best. Nobody does it fucking better than we do it. And that's unequivocal. It's validated. It's proven. You can go back and watch any of the shows that we put out. We're now in a battle with X. We're in a battle for this thing that seems to still have a black cloud over it that is sports gambling. So right now, X is working through a process of dropping influencers and sports gambling affiliated partners, which goes back to why I was saying for 2 weeks now, it feels like the views are down. Well, it's because X isn't pushing it out. And they came up with a temporary workaround, but it still works like shit. So this is a personal plea from me to you guys that are out there in sports money community saying, please, 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 if you haven't done so already, smash that thumbs up button. We need you now more than ever to continue to put our stake in the ground, support the relevance, and show that, look, this is the best goddamn channel in the history of sports gambling. And if we don't do that, if we don't get those thumbs up and those like buttons, then we're going to get stomped and stymied by the big business that is some of those $80 for 3-day sports plan packages out there. So help us, help you, help grow this community. Smash that thumbs up button and we'll get to work. Thank you to Gabe. Thank you to Nicholas Handy. You guys are one of one, or I guess 2 of 2. Constant supporters, OGs to the community, and took the time to go out to Twitter and repost for me. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys. I see it. I get the notifications. I appreciate you guys doing just that. I'm ready to fire off here on the card tonight. So I hope you guys are as well. Now, listen, last night, some sheer and disgusting debauchery I'm just laughing because I'm thinking to myself, was it Lehigh? Holy Cross. I get Holy Cross and Lehigh fucking confused. How could Holy Cross blow an 18-point lead and then lose outright? Two 3-pointers. Oh, man. It was just disgusting. It was disgusting. Alabama was getting busted up the whole. It was a great game, but Alabama was getting busted up the whole way. Found a way to fight back at the end and through overtime gets the job done. Now we turned a profit. So any day we can turn a profit is a good day, but we easily cashed Mississippi, Ole Miss. I told you Texas A&M's on the fade list, boys and girls. Write that shit down. Tennessee under did not cash for us. That went over by about, I think, 4 or 5 points. We cashed that Temple over. I told you that was a fucking spot on read of the marketplace. That UAB team's an over team, and they ratcheted that thing down like 15 points because of the previous 2 misses. Cash Navy. Navy -9 continues to be a cash cow. That's just, some of those were just auto bets. Rip, right down the auto bet line, and we went 3 in one of those spots. Northwestern struggled at the early part of that game. They won the game by 4, but they lost the 7.5 for us. And then Arizona, what are you going to say about Arizona? They won. They didn't cover. Marquette gets the easy win for us. St. John's, I told you guys going on the road was a tricky spot. UNLV, though, a little disappointed with that rebound situation. That bounce back, Mountain West revenge at home favorite situation did not cash for us. But we did close the night out with the late night special that was Gonzaga and San Francisco. To go under the total, it went under by almost 10 points. So all in all, not terrible. Not terrible at all. Now, positive. Let's talk some Kalshi trading for a minute because the portfolio is taking about a 10. Nope. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Trading at its finest. I gave you guys 4 players in yesterday's Kalshi segment. Colin Morikawa, Hideki Matsuyama, Minwoo Lee, and Rory McIlroy to go out there and bust them up. Outright winners. Let me define bust them up. Outright winners. Now, I suspect it's because of the situation. However, the portfolio for Kalshi today, all those bettors involved, it's up 67.96%. So I was wrong. I said you had to wait until the end to cash out. You can cash out right now. You can cash out right now and take you be up. Let's see. Cash out on Rory, you're making about 150%. If you cash out on Colin Morikawa, you're making about almost double your money. A little over double your money back. And Minwoo is pretty flat. So collectively, right now, if you cashed out on your investment, gosh, it's only climbing. This is day trading. This is what I'm talking about with regards to these numbers. And we're only testing it in golf right now. We'll put this in the long term, probably for like March Madness will be the next target that we hone in on. Right now, the portfolio from yesterday to today, based on this first round of golf at the Genesis Invitational, has gained 86%. That's real money. That is real money. And look, we took 2 bads, we got 2 goods. And if you decided to cash out right now, you just gained 86% that you could then afford to use for future bets. Now, I was talking a little bit with MMA Jeff earlier about this, and we were talking about some golf. He's like, I don't know. You think that's worth it or not? Well, listen, we're going to stretch it out longer term. So we started looking at some Masters and US Open winners because you get almost 4% interest with regards to those 3.25% APY, 3.25% interest rate. So even though that money might sit there, if you wanted to say cash out your Rory McIlroy bet, let's say you put $10 on it, you're cashing out about 16, right? Got $26 or so to go push off onto Rory to win the US Open. And it's like 1%. So lots can happen between then and now, but you got to suspect if Rory can go out there and win 3 or 4 golf tournaments leading up to the Masters, He's going to be a pretty close, not odds-on favorite. It'll probably still be Scotty Scheffler, but you still have the opportunity to get involved with Rory at probably the third or fourth ranked guy on the list to go out there and win the Masters. So, yes, Andrew K, 86% is impressive for one day. Now, I'm going to let it ride till tomorrow, and then we'll make a informed decision collectively with the group. We'll see on Friday here if it makes sense for us to consider cashing that out or not. But last week, I did not cash out the Fleetwood prop, and then Fleetwood shit the bed. And I don't think I'll be waiting for these guys to win the tournament or not. I think I will be cashing out. It's just a matter of when. So we'll see. We'll see how that looks. We'll also see what the field is doing out there as it relates to it. So shout out to all you guys that are here ready to rock. That's a little Kalshi update. It's a little US update. It's gold medal update. It's Raising Cane's update. Shout out to Dale Fick and Blake M. Blake M says Popeyes for me. And Dale Fick says there goes the sponsor. Nicholas Handy's here. There's the 9 legacy paid in full play of the day. Montana State, Montana, Portland State, Sac State, all spread best bet. Atlanta. Now listen, Atlanta Hawks money line, Pistons plus 4.5. I don't know if it's real or not. Is it possible? I got to look and see if it was a parody account. Is it possible that Sacramento State will be playing Ball State in a showdown late in the season? Because I saw on Twitter that they were going to call it the Ball Sack something. I sent it to a bunch of dudes. Nobody called me on it, so I just thought it was funny. Yeah, Dale, we're not going to get Raising Cane's as a sponsor, and I'm okay with it. Blake likes Popeyes. I'm just not a Popeyes guy. The breading is too much for me at Popeyes. I late night Uber Eats Popeyes one time, and I don't know, it wasn't very good. Traditionalist, I guess. Something Kelly V. Any early college basketball games? Kelly, I do not give them out here. I feel like when I give out the 6 p.m. window in college basketball, now that may change. We may be looking at a 5:30 start time, and if that's the case, then I may pop some 6 and 6:30 games out there. But I just feel like I just don't like it. I just don't like it because then I'm watching the screen and I'm watching my play losing as I'm trying to give out more winners. I just don't like the vibe. I just don't like the vibe. Ramon Scott shouting out his Lou play. Cute little Lou, too. She cute little gal. Stop Geoengineering's here. Jerry Davis likes the Raising Cane's fries and toast. Jerry Davis's draw plus 360. Tomorrow's going to be fire, says Nicholas Handy. Says, wish the Soviets were involved. The hammer and the sickle. I used to work with a girl that was one of our account extraordinaire. That her numbers skills were through the roof. And she was from Soviet Russia. Her family, I guess they defected is what it came down to a bunch of years ago. And when I found out she was from the Soviet Union, I was like, I love your hockey jerseys. She didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I said, the hammer and the sickle. And she just looked at me. You know the history? No, I don't. Nicholas Handy says he wants Carano to win. He wants to bust up Ronda. There's Ramon Scott. Kelly V says Portland State 17-5 ATS. There's Ice Viking. Blake M. I know you don't have Twitter, and I know you support the show, Blake, so we appreciate you, my brother. Andrew K says NBA back on tap tonight. Kelly V says first meeting William & Mary, 73 foul shot attempts, under 169 today. Under North Texas. Yeah, Andrew K, it was insane, wasn't it? Coach Cal in Arkansas, 18-8 ATS this season. Arkansas is a fucking wheel right now, man. Blake M says Clippers plus 4.5. Hornets plus 4.5 for him. Impressive return it was. KV likes the over in Sac State. Chris Warren's with me, though. He says Popeyes done fell off. I agree, dude. You know when they fell off to me is when they started doing the, it was probably before this, but it was like their last kick, you know, like, you know what I mean by last kick? It's got that last little burst. When they got the Don Julio partnership. That seems like when they went, what do they call it? Jumping the shark. Kelly V says over High Point. Or could team total over High Point? I kind of like High Point tonight. Jerry Davis doesn't like the Popeye slander. Ramon Scott says Sac State is joining the MAC as a football-only member. Moving up from the FCS to FBS. They're paying a reported $18 million entry fee and will pay travel for visiting teams. That's it. Then the annual Ball Sack game will take place. Ball Sack. I'm a juvenile. That's funny to me. I guess that's all I got. Let's talk some NBA. We're back, kiddies. Now listen, we're not going to be the guys that say, I can't wait for the NBA to come back and then pass. But we're also not going to try to just give you one play and say, look at us, we're hitting at 60%. But we did spend some time capping. We did spend some time learning about some of these teams. Got to remember, the All-Star break led into this thing. Or I'm sorry, the trade deadline kind of led into this thing. So there were a lot of moving parts for these squads. And we have to be cognizant of that as we look at these spots. Got to do a better job of looking at the trends, analyzing the trends against the cash flow to try to figure out where the right marketplaces look, not trying to find. Now, we have been successful in catching some teams on a discount, but you got to take into account that I like extended rest. I don't like the rest advantage. I don't care about teams coming in off of losing, although sometimes, I don't know, I guess it's situational. Because, for example, I like the Rockets in this first game here tonight. Yes, they're coming in at a mediocre 15-13 on the road. And we know the Hornets have been tearing the absolute piss out of everybody that steps on the court in front of these guys. But I feel like in tonight's case, this is a spot where they're telling us with the Rockets coming in here as a favorite, as a mediocre road team, that winning streak was effectively, in my opinion, put on ice. Not that ice, the ice that goes in your drink, based on this little All-Star break. So they've had a week off. The Hornets come in here. Now, put the rest factors aside. The road favorite off of a loss as a home favorite, those traditionally are showing a 61% win rate over the last 30 years. So 360 and 236 to be specific. But it is on a 5-game winning streak. So when you look at this thing and you start to kind of peel it back, you also got a rematch situation. Team takes the loss. They're coming back at it. They want to bounce back. And now that they're in that second half of the season, there's the haves and have-nots. I believe the Rockets fall under that criteria. Also, you want to fade the Hornets when they're playing a Western Conference team that's above 500. 9-1 in the last 10 in that spot, 81-27 overall. I know the Hornets were hot. They're 26-29 overall. Chill the fuck out. Stop it. This is a lower scoring game. Houston dictates pace. Houston goes out there, gets the spread cover for us out there. And I think it's just about, will the Hornets bounce back and be back to something? Maybe. You know, we talked about the checkout status. We talked about the checkout status with the NHL players. Talk about the checkout status with the NBA players as well. But fresh in their mind, there's that February 5th loss at Houston where the Hornets took down the Rockets when the Hornets were in their red hot streak. They're 4.5-point dogs. Now it's a 9-point swing, and the Rockets are 4.5-point favorites on the road. Give me them Houston Rockets. That's how we will pop off the NBA card this evening with a little Rockets action. The Rocket Man. Blake's going to stay with the Hornets plus 4.5. He says somebody will win. I mean, yeah, someone's going to win this game. It's tricky because I get it. You know, Charlotte came in to the break hot. I also think that Charlotte caught a lot of teams, kind of like the Buffalo Sabres. The Charlotte Hornets are like the Buffalo Sabres. You kind of got a lot of teams that just don't really fucking respect you. And so as you roll into this All-Star break, all these teams are checked out thinking about how they're going to go spend their money on break. And then here come you. They don't care about you. So this one's going to be interesting. The Wizards are a team I've got, and it's going to take me about 2 weeks to assess whether I want to buy or sell on the Washington Wizards. Tonight I'm going to sell. Tonight I'm going to get involved in the Pacers business here. I got him at minus 125. I like the trade moves that the Wizards have made, and both these teams should be in tank mode, right? It's fucking terrible. It's so bad, the NBA. With actual turn, I mean, it's just, This line's come down from 4.5 to 2. 64% of the bets, 53% of the cash have hit the Pacers. And these teams are pretty much, which is amazing to me, how you could be fighting for an NBA championship and less than 365 days later, you are just dog shit. So, my buddy just sent a funny message. Anyways, this is a tricky one because despite the trade moves, you know, they still came in losing 1-4 in their last 5 for the Wizards. And the Pacers, you know, they had 4 road games in a row coming into the break. That's a tricky situation. But they've been off for 8 days. They're void of all-stars. So their team's just been chilling, resting. And you put a rested team on a road trip with extended rest, not rest advantage, just extended rest, well rested. Those teams persevere. They're 81-32. Now, where I kind of, you know, I like to get involved when the teams got over their 4th road trip, 4th game on the road, and their 5th plus. We know that system has cashed time and again. So despite what popular opinion thinks, where it's like, hey, these guys have been on the 5th road game in a row, they're going to, no. That trend's 290 and 190. So that thing's kicking ass and taking names. But this, I kind of put an asterisk in it just because of the fact that there was that 8-day lag in between with the All-Star break. You want to fade the Wizards, you're 129 and 81 overall in this process here. I think Pacers looking to bounce back in a little revenge spot of their own. Yeah, trying to find a chip of motivation out there with these boys. And I think the Pacers can, at minus 125, at $1.25, $1.25. I'll take a shot with the Indiana Pacers tonight. I don't like that I started off with road, but I'm going to roll on to another road team because I think the Bulls are toast. They're that toast that soggy, artificially flavored, burnt end New England hot dog roll. That is Raising Cane's. That is they are the Chicago Bulls right now. That is not a team I want to get involved with. They broke pieces up. They dismantled the squad specifically. You look at Voos going to the Celtics. Really like that move. Road favorites after a loss at home tend to fire back. They've won 5 in a row in that spot. That's what we talked about just before with the Raptors or with the Rockets. Same situation. And if I could zoom in a little bit, where I talked about the All-Star break and how that kind of compromises some of these trends that are going on. After the All-Star break, the road favorite bounce back off a home loss is 63 and 32, respectively. So this will be the first test to see if that can hold water. But the line's moving in a ton. I mean, minus 2.5 to minus 5.5. Even 6.5. So you've got 64% of the bets. You got 71% of the cash on these boys. You got to give it some respect. You got to give it some consideration. I think that this line, I don't want to use the tells you what you need to know situation, but I just think with this Raptors team now, I feel like they're trying to gel. They've found a couple. I mean, look, Emmanuel Quickly, you got to like this guy. I mean, he's kind of become the go-to from a points perspective. He loves hitting threes, by the way. Hint, hint. Premium. He's gone over in 5 straight games. He shoots at almost 50%. 8 3-pointers a game attempted. You got to like a spot like that. And I think if they're going out there and they got their leading point guy going out there busting up threes, it's enough to pull away from the Chicago Bulls team. And in that road bounce back post All-Star break situation, I like the Raptors. So where's my guy, Bo Jackson? Where's our resident Toronto guy? Can he get down? Kerry Davis says, Mikey, shocking, I know, but I am on Central Connecticut State. Lemoyne. Point guard best player still suspended. I think Lemoyne still wins. But I get it. That's a tough one. At first pass, I could see, yeah. Jerry, I can't root you on, but I'll keep a rooting interest in my side, and we'll look back at it tomorrow. Lemoyne in Coastal Carolina. The Mikey Money Jerry head-to-head battle of the day. We get one every day. It's okay. It makes it fun, doesn't it, though? Denver Nuggets, LA Clippers will be the last spot I've got for you guys in the NBA. I do have one more player prop. I guess I just incidentally tipped my hand to a player prop here. What are we going to do with this Clippers team? That's what I thought as I was looking at this game today. What's my situation with the Clippers? Let me status check myself. If it was a Kalshi prop, I'd be down to almost no money. 4.5 points. They started at 3.5. 75% of the bet, 75% of the cash on the Nuggets. We know Jokic's back. 223.5 moved to 226.5 on the total. Now, in some circuits, fading the Clippers after the All-Star break has been successful. I'm going to discount that because of Claw and some of the movements that have taken place. If you play a team that's got a higher scoring average than the league, the dog tends to recognize this team's going to go out there and fire. And that recognition that the team's going to go out there and fire correlates to, we better tune up our offense. And what a better place to tune up your offense than at your home gym. And that's the Clippers here tonight with the Intuit. In fact, if you want to be tangible, wrap your hands around a 65% win rate. The underdogs playing a playoff team that scores more points than the league average have cashed 10 straight times. 65% win rate. It's on a 10-game heater. We're going to take the Clippers tonight. We're going to test these boys back at the Intuit Dome, kicking things off. Can't imagine. I don't know. I mean, you got Aaron Gordon out, Peyton Watson's out. Bradley Beal, Darius Garland. I don't know. We're coming back from the All-Star break. So we got to come at this thing, I think, with a clean slate for this Clippers team. Now, if I could hint you, I like the big man that crushes rebound number. It seems too low. He's gone over 12.5 rebounds in 5 straight games. He's averaging 14.5 a game. And he's getting 22.5 chances a night. So Clippers do seem that their front court, after trading Zubac, they've gotten a little smaller. So that's why I mentioned the big man in the paint and his rebound number. So keep that in mind for player prop number 2 for you guys. And we'll talk about one more at the end of the show. Let's move into some college hoops real quick. Right quick. Let's talk Samford and Citadel. I'm so glad that there's some other sports coming back because I've been having a rough go of it with college hoops. Like I was just texting this to Shark earlier today. I was like, man, it's a good day, then a bad day, then a good day, then an okay day, then a good day, then a shit day. It's like, it's almost like you have a good day. Do you take the next day off? No. Does the cap change? I only think the respect of the cap changes from sharp to square. And I don't know which side I fall on. Like when you listen to some shows and everyone had a bad Friday and you had a good Friday, does that mean you were square? Does that mean you were sharp? I don't know. I think about what our guy Billy Briz said when it came to days of the week. Friday's payday. So I feel like with respect to sharp versus square on a Friday, if you had a good day on a Friday, you beat the books because they're trying to take all that money from Joe Public who just got paid. So I don't know. There's a lot of theory that I kick around this old squash of mine, but well, Siri, we don't need you to answer that. There's no question in that statement. But Samford and Citadel pops off at 7 p.m., 15 minutes, minus 10.5, 91% of the bets, 91% of the cash on Samford. And I am taking the home dog, the doogie, the home doggy in this spot here. Citadel, they're terrible, right? There's no question about it with a team that's coming into this thing. And the best you can say about this team is their average against the spread at home. They play defense. They're obviously more defense oriented than offense. They do like to have the under. It doesn't matter if they're home or road. They just, and it's probably in part because they just don't score enough points. But I did take Citadel. I will tell you this. From a Citadel perspective, favorites that come off a win as a road dog of 2 or more points are just 28 and 57. There's your 65% win rate if they had over 28 free throws made the previous game. So ideally, your favorites catching the tax after performing as a dog. You're selling high. That's the spot that we try to look for. That's a Citadel opportunity for us to get paid. So simply put, I will take some Citadel in our lives here. And I'm going to look at Charleston, College of Charleston in North Carolina, A&T. Kelly Visa, Samford, 9-1 straight up in the series. Well, it's 10.5 points. The money line's got to be what? Minus 500. So that's why I like the points. I'll take the points in that spot there. This next one's a little tricky. How could a mid-major program be tricky, you might ask? A CAA program that's 3-10 against a 10-4 Charleston. Let's just take this big favorite and go home. Only when you drill down, it's not such a big favorite. They're sitting at 4.5 and 5 points. So that makes you have to question yourself. What the heck is going on? And we'll talk a little bit about what the home court means to the North Carolina A&T side here in just a second. But as you're looking at this thing here, 90% of the bets and 91% of the cash have come in on Charleston. It's been, some books have a 5. I'll give you that. Totals come down 147.5 to 146.5. For North Carolina A&T Aggie squad that comes in here 10-14 and swirling around the toilet bowl. They did just come off a win at Hampton. It's a big bounce back revenge spot. I know I use the term, but it's so real. And it does have a factor here. These guys got thumped out by Charleston at Charleston, 16 points. They were 11.5 point dogs 2 weeks ago to the day. Now, that was the end of a road trip, 3-game road trip. They had covered the previous 2. So could that be a fatigue factor? The NBA and college basketball, to me, they're different animals when it comes to the travel spots, right? You could argue the NBA prefers to be on the road for an extended period of time. They're away from their girls. They got all that money in their pockets. And they got a lot of downtime. I don't mind. Not college basketball. They got curfews, pretty stringent requirements, budgets to work with for meals. So after 3 days or 3 games in a row of that shit, you want to get back the fuck home. And so I kind of feel like that's what happened with college or with NCA&T. Now they got back home. They play Campbell. They lost. But give them a week. They go at Hampton. They catch the win. And they haven't played in 6 days. So they do have a rest advantage over Charleston. Charleston just played Campbell. They did win at Campbell. But then if you look at Charleston's schedule, that Hofstra loss at home, UNC Wilmington loss at home. After they busted their load against NCA&T, they've kind of been flirting with mediocrity. And so unranked home dogs coming in off a win have been firing. They've cashed 6 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. That's an NCA&T spot. And I talked about the home court. NCA&T at home, the unders 42-17 over the last almost 60 games. Because they D-up, because they have a little bit of that home court advantage, because they're in a revenge spot with the rest advantage off of that bad road trip loss where they picked up the groove before that, I like me some NCA&T, and I would lean to the under. What do you guys think about that? Nasty Nate's a Celtic smash. Celtics second quarter. The Shield likes the Celtics. Andrew K says the Jeremy Sokan era begins tonight and Jose Alvarado era continues at MSG. Kelly V says, I would never lay that type of, I know you wouldn't. But tease it. I think you could take Citadel plus extra points teaser. Okay. Andrew K says, I wish the Pistons were at full strength instead of dealing with suspensions. I think the Pistons own the Knicks. Alabama A&M and Florida A&M, the battle of agriculture. The future of agriculture is being put to the test here tonight in a situation where we got a state line, Florida-Georgia line, taking place on this thing. And this one just comes down to fading Alabama A&M on the road. I mean, these two teams are coin flippy. The line's a pick 'em. It shows you it's a coin flip. Is there an edge? The only edge I could find in this spot was that you want to fade Alabama A&M on the road. You're 82-43 if you do that. Pretty straightforward. Not going to overcomplicate it. Not going to jazz it up. And look, the fade. It's a straight fade of these boys coming in on the road. And you want to fade SWAC teams in this situation as well. So we talked about SWACs and unders. I think you've got two things going on. They're kind of intersecting to some degree. Just hear me out. You fade them boys, Alabama A&M on the road. Florida A&M is a small favorite or a dog after a win, are 41-18. So you're kind of intersecting in the fact that you got Florida A&M coming in here off the win in a 41-18 spot, and you're fading an Alabama A&M on the road situation out there. It's ugly. It's a pick 'em, but if there's an edge to be had, I want to try to take advantage of it. So I will put my chips, stack my chips on, not stack them, but I will put a little bit of money here on this. Minus 120 is the money line for Florida A&M. It did open, by the way, for what it's worth. If we look at this, go back to what we kind of practice, what we preach here. When we talk about the minus 1.5 to plus 1.5 ping pong window, sometimes we like to look down at the money line and see if it tells a better story. So right now, 68% of the bets and 58% of the cash are on the Alabama A&M plus 1.5. No move. Nada. None. 42% of the bets, 57% of the cash are on the Alabama A&M money line, saying, fuck it. I don't need the points. Just give me the money line. So bigger betting coming in to some degree. They've made it more attractive to bet the Alabama A&M side. It's gone from minus 105 to plus 105. And it correlates because Florida A&M went from minus 115 to minus 120. So I'm going to look at some Florida A&M action. And I promised you guys a player prop. So I will finish the show off here. A couple of minutes to go. What great. Effortless it's like, isn't it? That's why a 5:30 move. I don't know. I'm teasing it. I'm talking about it. It's really getting into me. It's getting into my craw. Let's take a look at the Orlando Magic and the Sacramento Kings. This one to me had like probably the biggest, I don't want to say steam. I guess maybe I'll use steam. The lines moved. How about that? This one's had some of the most line move here. Orlando Magic, Sacramento Kings game here this evening. And I'm going to the rebounds. I'm going to the boards. I like boards. Seems to be, I like playing the threes and I like playing the rebounds as my player props. Those are kind of like the first two because I see that they got the most volatility. Like points. You know where I get the notice personally when like one of the tools that I have is when the book takes a guy who's averaged a certain number of points and then they move it against him. So like, in other words, if the guy's averaging 16 points, like the other day, we had one where they moved, the dude's line was like 30 points, 30 points, 30 points. They moved it down to 25, 25, 25. Then they dropped it to 22. Boom, alert goes off for me. Critical notice. And, that's where I'm trying to fire. But I don't mind looking at some of these other markets as well. Specifically, when I look at Keegan Murray, he is a shooter, but he's kind of an underrated rebounder. And the thing about this is the key for me is Cardwell and Sabonis. When those boys are out, his over rate when it comes to his rebounds have gone up to 60%. And the books know it. It was plus 105 this morning. It's minus 125s. And I got a minus 130 here just now at Fanatics. Well, not now, but an hour ago. Over 4.5 rebounds for this guy. Caldwell's done. 4.5 rebounds in 6 of his last 9 games without those two guys in the lineup. Do you think it's going to be a blowout and he gets a minutes restriction? Well, I'm assuming he's going to play in a standard rotation. I'm assuming he gets 5 rebounds. Orlando probably does go out there. I mean, it's a -8.5, so they should probably put some boot to ass. But if you're on the other side of that thing and your team's getting flooded, do you stop playing? Do you get at least 3/4 out of this guy? I'm going to gamble on that, and I think the market correlates with that, where we see the number over 4.5 rebounds. It's now -130. Jerry Davis says, Mikey, 100% 430. 430 year, 5:30 Eastern? Jerry, what time zone are you in? Maybe we'll try it next week. Summertime's going to be a whole, I feel like my any given Sunday, or not any given Sunday. What's that football movie? I can't think of any given Sunday. Come contract time, there's going to be a whole bunch of motherfucking changes. You're going to be me. Ain't going to be me. I'm going to have to watch that movie. Andrew K says, Osser seems to give Brunson fits. Kelly V likes the over 145. Drexel Northeastern 14 overs, 5 unders. Chris Warren says, good stuff. Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you, Jerry Davis, for shouting out that 430. I'm curious what time zone you're in. You West or Central? Kelly V, if you like an under, look for players to pick up boards. Westbrook rebounds over is a look. Andrew K says, OG back tonight. Only guy out for is Deuce. Oh, boy. That should be a fun game. That's going to do it, you guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight here. I told you we are in a battle. We're constantly fighting for our place at the table as it works out here. 2 years in, now we've Okay, Central Standard Time. Gotcha. So you're on board for the 30 minutes sooner. Gives a little bit more time, so when we're up against the 7 o'clock window, we're not up against it, right? I will take that under advisement. And I encourage you guys to smash that thumbs up button because the battle is real. X is putting us down. They are just not promoting. You know, we used to get hundreds upon hundreds of Twitter views. We got 8. Now, I know it's not your problem. That's our problem. That's not a YP. That's an MP. That's my problem. But I need your help to fix it. We can collectively, what do they say? Many hands make light work. A rising tide lifts all boats is my favorite quote of the week. But I appreciate all you guys, man. So thanks for being here. Tune in at 9 a.m. to the morning steam with Ramon Dre Stevenson Scott, as I like to call him. Getting that first look out of Las Vegas, seeing where the books moved overnight. Remember, 3 line movements that we're concerned with. 1, when they open up overnight with limits, and Ramon Scott will come in and tell you what's happening. As soon as you get up in the morning, you can hear what happened with those limits. 12 p.m. is when they take the limits off and the sharps come in. And then at 6 p.m., we try to compare that last movement. Is it public? Is it sharp? How has it all come together to put the picture together with Pregaming? So appreciate everybody being here. Thank you guys for being a part of this community. And if you haven't done so already, I mentioned it. Check out that VB MMA Pick Show with Ramon Scott. 3 breakdowns for the UFC Houston this weekend. New graphics are loaded. I've completed. They're done. I'm ready to roll them. I hope you guys enjoy them as well. So we'll be live on Saturday. We'll kick off about 4:45 p.m. And of course, you'll see 9 a.m. the morning steam, 11 a.m. betting the board with my guy, Mick the Mac Daddy, and I dual streaming, talking about the college basketball board for Saturday before we roll into the live UFC coverage. So on behalf of the Sports Money crew, you guys get to work, get that bankroll, build and bet responsibly, and get